Hello friends! After a couple of days it's time for another video from my series called Quick Thoughts On, in which I rant about different episodes from the whole Star Trek franchise. 50 years ago NBC aired a new episode of the classic Star Trek show called I, Mutt, and these are my honest opinions about it. The episode I'm going to talk about today starts with introducing us to a new crew member, Mr. Norman. Dr. McCoy is suspicious about him because he behaves a bit like Spock, but he's fully human. And he's absolutely correct. Norman goes to auxiliary control, overpowers the engineer, and takes control of the ship. You know, I would say that a room from which you can take control of the whole ship is a little security risk, don't you think? What if you would put some, I don't know, security guards there? Norman, without any problem, goes to the bridge, captures Kirk, and says that if they try to change the course, the ship will blow up. He shows them his belly, and we see that he is actually an android. He switches himself off, and after a few days, when they reach the destination planet, he orders Spock, McCoy, Uhura, Chekhov, and Kirk himself to beam down to the planet. When they do so, they find that the population is consisting of androids and it's ruled by their old, quote-unquote, friend, hardcore Fenton Mutt. He explains them how he became their ruler and shows them an android version of his wife Stella, who he created only because he wants to make her shut up. The reason why they are there is very simple. The androids want to serve humans, which means they can't leave. Spock is interested in the tech, Uhura is interested in the possibility of being copied to an android body and to live forever. McCoy is fascinated by the medical stuff we are not shown, but the first twist suddenly appears. Scotty is thrown into their group. Literally thrown in. All of the Enterprise crew members have been brought down to the planet and replaced by androids. And the second twist comes very soon. When Harry Mudd wants to leave the planet, he finds out that he can't leave and he is a prisoner too. The thing is that the androids think that the human race is way too dangerous and want to control them by serving them. This golden cage doesn't look so bad for some of the people. For example, Chekhov's slightly perverted mind thinks that this place is better than Leningrad, which means that in the next 300 years St. Petersburg will be renamed again to Leningrad. Scotty is also interested in tech, but they still need to leave. So now the story changes to a slightly absurd comedy. McCoy injects Mutt with a hypo spray, and they call the female android, but Uhura says them the truth. But she didn't betray them, it was actually part of the plan. Then they have a little dance number, without music of course, and do some silly stuff until the two Alice androids stop working. Spock takes care of two other Alice models by saying he loves one of them and hates the other because they are identical. Then they pretend that Scotty is dead and that they have a bomb. They destroy the androids one by one until they get to the main one. Who controls them? Norman. They fry his brain using the old liar's paradox. For those of you who don't know, it's everything I say is a lie. I am lying. Which means that if he says that everything he says is a lie, that means that he lies when he says he is lying, which means that he is saying the truth, which means that he indeed is lying, and so on. Our heroes decide to leave, but they still let Matt there to live with the androids, but they will have the final laugh. They created for him 500 models of the Stella android, and the rest of Matt's time will be a living hell. This is the second of 3 episodes in which Harry Mudd appears, not counting yet the episodes of Star Trek Discovery, simply because we don't know yet in how many of the episodes he will appear. The first time we have seen him was in the episode Matt's Women, where he arranged the marriages between 3 beautiful women and 3 horny miners. The last episode before Discovery was an episode of the animated series in which he was dealing with a love potion. He has appeared also in 2 of the episodes of Star Trek Discovery, at least 2 so far, and his character changed drastically. While in the original series and also in the animated series, he was basically a charming bad guy, and partially also the comic relief character. In Discovery, he is a clear murderer. Why? Why didn't they create a new character instead of changing an old existing one? This is the second android-centric episode of the classic Star Trek show. The first one was, of course, What Are Little Girls Made Of in Season 1. However, in that episode, their goal was very different. They were all basically evil doppelgangers of our heroes, mainly Captain Kirk. These androids are here as real factory-made machines. They are even mass-produced, unlike the androids from the previous episodes, which were all unique. There is a lot of humor in this episode, but only in the second half. The first half tries to be dramatic. We don't really know what does the android want. As soon as we find it out and we meet Matt, it turns into a crazy comedy. There are a very few minor problems I have with this episode. Number 1, the auxiliary control room. As I said, the existence of this room is a huge security problem, and this is not the only episode in which we see it. Hell, even stoned space hippies led by Dumbo will use it to take control of the ship. Why does it exist, and why are there absolutely no security officers? Number 2, what the hell are they doing? I mean, how high was the writer when he came up with all of the nonsense they are doing to distract the androids? Couldn't they do something a bit more thought out? I know it's just me, but I don't really like that kind of absurd type of humor. Well, at least I have to say that it's definitely not boring. I have to admit that. Number 3. This is another one of the cases where Kirk outsmarts the computer. In this case, an android, but let's pretend that the android has a computer brain. Shouldn't it be a Spock gimmick? I mean, don't get me wrong, I love Kirk and I love Shatner, but none of them seem to be so intelligent to be able to outsmart so many artificial intelligent creatures. Maybe it would work a bit better if it was Spock, but it's just a very tiny little nitpick from my side. Overall, this episode is really good. I have a few objections, but those are just very minor nitpicks, as I said. So let's get to my personal rating. On my scale from 0 to 10, where 0 is complete garbage, 10 is a masterpiece, and 5 is average, I would give this episode 9 out of 10. This is an almost perfect episode, and I can definitely recommend this one to basically anybody. But as always, these were just my opinions. Feel free to write your opinions down in the comment section. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up button and feel free to watch any of my previous videos. I am right now doing videos about different episodes of Star Trek The Next Generation, and Star Trek Discovery. Unfortunately, as most of you have noticed, I am not able to do these videos on the dates I would like because, as I said, I had to return to my main job, but I still will upload them as soon as I am able to do it. Thanks a lot for watching, and see you in my next video. Bye.